Hello again, and welcome back to Speak. We are now on assignment number 5. Assignment number 5 encompasses 4 parts or sections. The first one is acting. The second one is dinner theater. The third one is blue roses. And number 4 is student divided by confusion equals algebra. As usual, you will be completing my assignment number 5 for this. So please make sure you're doing your vocab, making your sentence, answering your questions correctly, and that you are filling out your open-ended paragraph in 1 paragraph minimum, and you're giving details from the book, your life, or both together. We are finding out as we are reading, and we're only in assignment 5, that there's definitely issues with Melinda. And we're trying to find out what they are. She's given us little clues, mostly in the form of thoughts, because remember, she doesn't speak, certainly not to people that she doesn't trust. And right now, it doesn't seem like she trusts many or anybody. So let's look, almost like detectives, at what it is that she says. If we can, break it down and figure out what she's actually saying, because she gives a lot of clues and hints as to what happened and to what she's thinking about it. So let's go. Acting. We get a day off for Columbus Day. I go to Heather's house. I wanted to sleep in, but Heather really, really, really wanted me to come over. There's nothing on television anyway. Heather's mom acts very excited to see me. She makes us mugs of hot chocolate to take upstairs and tries to convince Heather to invite a whole group for her sleepover. It's interesting the way she reacts to Heather's mom. It's like she's like a different species. And it seems to me that Heather's mom is lovely. She's always very nice. She's always offering them, snacks and treats and whatnot. She's always trying to get to know her daughter's friends, ensuring that her daughter's friends are good. I mean, imagine, wait until you have kids. You're not going to want your kids to hang out with people that you think are bad influences or are bad people, because the people you hang out with end up becoming kind of who you are and certainly how people see you. So I think the mother's a good mother. Now, why is it that she seems weirded out by the fact, or surprised that this woman is a good mom? It's because her mom's not a good mom, does none of these things, doesn't care at all about her. Remember, lets her sleep in a closet, didn't care when she made overtures of suicide, for crying out loud. So what's going on in that family? We're going to have to find out more as we move on. Remember, they only communicate with notes. They don't see or talk to each other ever, seemingly. And when they do, you'll see it's mostly just yelling at her. Let's continue. Okay. She makes us mugs of hot chocolate to take upstairs and tries to convince Heather to invite a whole group over for a sleepover. Maybe Melly could bring some of her friends. I don't mention the possibility that Rachel would slit my throat on her new carpet. Show my teeth like mother pats my cheek. When she says I show my teeth like a good girl, it means she smiles. And look at what she says after that. I'm getting better at smiling when people expect it. So rather than speak, she gives them a smile. People accept that, and they move on. And she's able to get away with saying nothing. Heather's room is finished and ready for viewing. It does not look like a 5th grader's or a 9th grader's. It looks like a commercial for vacuum cleaners, all fresh paint and vacuum cleaner lines in the carpet. The lilac walls have a few artsy prints on them. Her bookcase has glass doors. She has a television and a phone, and her homework is neatly laid out on her desk. Her closet is opened just a tad. I opened it farther with my foot. All her clothes wait patiently on hangers, organized by type. Skirts together, pants hanging by their cuffs. Her sweater stacked in plastic bags on shelves. The room screams Heather. Why can't I figure out how to do that? Not that I want my room screaming Heather. That would be too creepy, but a little whisper of Melinda would be nice. I sit on the floor flipping through her CDs. Heather paints her nails on her desk blotter and blathers. She is determined to sign up for the musical. The Music Wingers are a hard clan to break into. Heather doesn't have talent or connections. I tell her she is wasting her time to even think of it. She thinks we should try out together. I think she's been breathing too much hairspray. My job is to nod or shake my head to say, I know what you mean when I don't. And that is so unfair when it isn't. Now, I just want to point it out again. Heather, this is now 6 weeks into school, we've been told. Heather still doesn't realize or know that Melinda is an outcast. And that's Melinda's word. She calls herself outcast. I mean, they treat her like that. But Melinda even calls herself that. Why doesn't she see it? And my point is, she knows it. She was at the pep rally. She saw and heard what they said. She saw them pushing her down and whatnot. She didn't defend her, if you'll recall, from the verbal onslaught from the girl behind her. She didn't say anything because she didn't want to mess up her chance at popularity. But why doesn't she see it? Is it that she just doesn't have any other friends and she's using Melinda to have somebody? Do you think she will drop Melinda if and when she does get other friends? It's an interesting thought. Question, is Melinda using her? Does Melinda even like her? Remember, a couple of times Melinda said she just needs a friend, any friend, just so that she doesn't look like a fool. So she has somebody to walk down the hallways with. Is that, I don't know. Let's continue. Let's go on. The musical would be easy for me. I'm a good actor. I have a whole range of smiles. I use the shy, look up through the bank smile for staff members and the crinkly eye smile with a quick shake of my head if a teacher asks me for an answer. If my parents want to know how school went, I flash my eyebrows upward and shrug my shoulders. When people point at me or whisper as I walk past, I wave to imaginary friends down the hall and hurry to meet them. If I drop out of high school, I could be a mime. Heather asks why I don't think they would let us in the musical. I sip my hot chocolate. It burns the roof of my mouth. Me. We are nobody. Heather, how can you say that? Why does everyone have that attitude? I don't understand any of this. If we want to be in the musical, then they should let us. We could just stand on stage or something if they don't like our singing. It's not fair. I hate high school. She pushes her books to the floor and knocks the green nail polish on the sand-colored carpet. Why is it so hard to make friends here? Is there something in the water? In my old school, I could have gone out for the musical and worked on the newspaper and chaired the car wash. Here, people don't even know I exist. I get squished in the hall and I don't belong anywhere and nobody cares. And you're no help. You are so negative and you never try anything. You just mope around like you don't care that people talk about you behind your back. Ah, she does know. And now she's actually getting angry at her. I think she's starting to realize that maybe she's not getting any friends because she hangs out with Melinda. Or is the school just too darn cliquey? I think it's a little bit of both. But what she just said, is it true? Is she negative and doesn't want to try anything? At this point, if you really were her friend, rather than chastise her for it, yell at her for it. Well, she's not yelling, but you get my point. How about ask her, dude, what's wrong? Why are you so negative about anything? Why do people talk about you behind her back? But no. She flops on her bed and bursts into sobs, big boo-hoos with little squeals of frustration, and she punches her teddy bear. I don't know what to do. I try to soak up the nail polish, but I make the stain bigger. It looks like algae. Heather wipes her nose on the bear's plaid scarf. I slip out to the bathroom and come back with another box of tissues and a bottle of nail polish remover. Heather, I'm so sorry, Nellie. I can't believe I said those things to you. It's PMS. Don't pay any attention to me. You've been so sweet to me. You're the only person I can trust. She blows her nose loudly and wipes her eyes on her sleeve. Look at you. You're just like my mom. She says, no use crying. Just get on with your life. I know what we'll do. First, we'll work our way into a good group. We'll make them like us. By next year, the music wingers will be begging us to be in the musical. It is the most hopeless idea I've ever heard, but I nod and pour the remover on the carpet. It lightens the polish to a bright green vomit and bleaches the carpet surrounding it. When Heather sees what I have done, she bursts into tears again, sobbing that it isn't my fault. My stomach is killing me. Her room isn't big enough for this much emotion. I leave without saying goodbye. Dinner theater. The parents are making threatening noises. Notice how she capitalizes the parents. It's not mom or dad. It's like they're characters to her. They're not even real. They're not an emotional part of her life. And why? Because they don't care about her. So she doesn't seem to care much about them. What's going on with that? Let's see if we can find out. The parents are making threatening noises, turning dinner into performance art, with dad doing his Arnold Schwarzenegger imitation and mom playing Glenn Close in one of her psycho roles. I am the victim. Mom, creepy smile. Thought you could pull one over on us, did you, Melinda? Big high school student now. Don't need to show your homework to your parents. Don't need to show any failing test grades. Dad bangs the table. Silverware jumps. Cut the crap. She knows what's up. The interim reports came today. Listen to me, young lady. I'm only going to say this once. You get those grades up or your name is mud. Hear me? Get them up. Attacks the baked potato. Now, here's my point, and this is an interesting point. So progress reports came in today, and now they're talking to her about her grades and about her teachers and everything. Why not talk to her regularly? What do you have today? Got a test tomorrow? What's going on? Why not be involved in your students, your kids' work? Well, there's an answer why. Because they don't care. Mom, annoyed at being upstaged. I'll handle this. Melinda, she smiles. Audience shudders. We're not asking for much, dear. We just want you to do your best. And we know your best is much better than this. You tested so well, dear. Look at me when I talk to you. Victim mixes cottage cheese into applesauce. Dad snorts like a bull. Mom grasps knife. Now notice, they're just, yelling to her or at her. What is she not doing? I mean, yes, she's not looking at them, but she's also not talking to them. How do they allow that? But they seem to. Victim mixes, I did that. Mom, I said, look at me. Victim mixes peas into applesauce and cottage cheese. Dad stops eating. Mom, look at me now. This is the death voice, the voice that means business. When I was a kid, this voice made me pee in my pants. It takes more now. I look mom square in the eye, then rinse my plate and retreat to my room. Deprived of victim, mom and dad holler at each other. I turn up my music to drown out the noise. Blue roses. Hold on, I'm just checking something. Thank you. After last night's interrogation, I try to pay attention in biology. We're studying cells, which have all these tiny parts you can't see unless you look at them under a microscope. We get to use real microscopes, not plastic Kmart special. It's not bad. Miss Keene is our teacher. I feel kind of sad for her. She could have been a famous scientist or doctor or something. Instead, she's stuck with us. She has wooden boxes all over the front of the room that she climbs on when she talks to us. If she'd cut back on the donuts, she'd look like a tiny grandmother doll. Instead, she is a gelatinous figure, usually encased in orange polyester. She avoids basketball players. From their perspective, she must look like a basketball. I have a lab partner, David Petrakis, belongs to the Cyber Genius clan. He has the potential to be cute when the braces come off. He is so brilliant, he makes the teachers nervous. You'd think a kid like that would get beat up a lot, but the bad guys leave him alone. I have to find out his secret. David ignores me mostly, except when I almost ruined the $300 microscope by twisting the knob the wrong way. That was the day Miss Keene wore a purple dress with bright blue roses. Baffling. They shouldn't let teachers change like that without some kind of early warning alert. It shakes up the students. That dress was all anyone talked about for days. She hasn't worn it since. Student divided by confusion equals algebra. I slide into my desk with 10 minutes left in algebra class. All right, first of all, there's 10 minutes left in algebra class. And that's the class that she's probably doing the worst in. It's one of the worst, but yet she shows up late. And that's an interesting thing. A lot of students will do that in the classes that they do the worst in. They miss it, they skip it, and they wonder why they're doing poorly. Mr. Stepman stares at my late pass for a long time. I pull out a clean sheet of paper so I can copy the problems off the board. I sit in the back row where I can keep my eye on everyone, as well as whatever is going on in the parking lot. I think of myself as the emergency warning system of the class. I plan disaster drills. How would we escape if the chemistry lab exploded? What if an earthquake hit central New York? A tornado? It is impossible to stay focused on algebra. It's not that I'm bad at math. I tested at the top of the class last year. That's how I got Dad to pay for my new bike. Math is easy because there's no room for debate. The answer is right or it's wrong. Give me a sheet of math problems and I'll get a 98% of them right. But I can't get my head around algebra. I knew why I had to memorize my multiplication tables, understanding fractions and decimals and percentages and even geometry. All that was practical, tools I can use. It made so much sense I never even thought about it. I did the work, made honor roll. But algebra? Every single day, someone asks Stepman why we have to learn algebra. You can tell this causes some great personal pain. Mr. Stepman loves algebra. He is poetic about it in an integral number sort of way. He talks about algebra the way some talk about cars. Ask why algebra, and he launches into 1,001 stories why algebra. None of them make sense. Mr. Stepman asks if anyone can explain the Wang-Dindler's role in the negative Hotchkiss theorem. Heather is the answer. She's wrong. Stepman tries again. Me? I shake my head with a sad smile. Not this time. Try me again in 20 years. He calls me to the board. Mr. Stepman, who wants to help Melinda understand how we work our way through this problem? Rachel? Great. My head explodes with the noise of fire trucks leaving the station. This is a real disaster. So now think about this. The teacher is now forcing her to go up and do a problem on the board. He actually is also forcing Rachel, her ex-best friend, to go up on the board and help her in front of everybody. This is bad. My head explodes with the noise of fire trucks leaving the station. This is a real disaster. Rochelle clogs up to the board, dressed in an outrageous Dutch Scandinavian ensemble. She looks half cute, half sophisticated. She has red laser eyes that burn my forehead. I wear basic dumpster togs, smelly gray turtleneck, and jeans. I just this minute remember that I need to wash my hair. All right, so think about this. She's looking at her ex-best friend, Rachel, walk up, and she looks perfect, she says. She's dressed in European-style clothes, and she says she looks half cute, half sophisticated. She looks great. She looks wonderful. Then she notices herself for the first time in a while. She realizes what she looks like in front of everybody else. And think about that, smelly gray turtleneck and jeans, so dirty clothes. And then she also realizes that she hasn't washed her hair. In other words, she hasn't showered. For how long? And when somebody doesn't shower for a while, it shows. You get greasy looking and oily looking. Now, why is that? Why would a person not shower and then show up at school? There's a couple of reasons. One of them, of course, is because there's something wrong. Like there's some kind of traumatic experience going on. There's something wrong with the person's psyche inside. We know that's what's up with Melinda. We're just still trying to figure out why, of course. Michelle's mouth moves and her hand glides over the board, drawing funny shapes and numbers. I pull my lower lip all the way in between my teeth. If I try hard enough, maybe I can gobble my whole self this way. Mr. Stepman drones something and Michelle flutters her eyelids. She nudges me. We're supposed to sit down. The class giggles as we walk back to our seats. I didn't try hard enough to swallow myself. My brain doesn't think we should spend any time hanging around algebra. We have better things to think about. It's a shame. Mr. Stepman seems like a nice guy. All right, perfection. We are going to end there. Please get all your questions answered and have a great day. Thank you very much for your time. Enjoy.